Good.
Is that a superpower?
Ask my wife.
Rick Crosslin back in our studio this morning because we're having some more fun with you.
Yes.
When it comes to the solar eclipse,
Yep.
you're going to tell us maybe how we can view it. Man, how long did all of this take for you? Look at this.
That's a great shot.
That's a good sign.
Wow.
So, some friends of mine at Wayne Township, Matt Lyles and Todd Hendricks, they work in maintenance, and during their lunch and after work, for about 6 months we've been working on this. So
Oh, wow.
6 months.
6 months. But, so this is an orrery right here. See, I don't even see this right here.
Yeah,
This
bring
is,
there we go.
This is an orrery.
An orrery.
Yeah, which is it's an Irish word, and it's named after the 4th Earl of Orrery in Ireland, close to Limerick. And he named it because he had one commissioned by Charles Boyle. It is a mechanical device to show how the planets move around. In this one, we have the sun, the earth, and the moon. And you can actually see how these things move. Now, anytime you make a model in science, there are limitations. You have to make some decisions. Like, for example, this is not the size or the distance of them.
Sure.
And so we thought about, what if I could make the world's largest orrery? And that's what we have here. So
Why wouldn't you?
I was thinking of that too.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah,
week. I
sitting
should
around.
probably make that.
So I had to make some decisions. First of all, I'm taking this around to all the kids in the school. This works really well in the gym. We'll
Yeah.
show you in a little bit. But so the sun is 110 times larger than the Earth. Ours is not.
Sure.
But it does, and I got some lights here for the sun. And then it gets real interesting because now we have to think about the distance. This is the Earth. So the three players that we have right here are the sun, the moon, and the Earth. And let's see, we have the moon out here, and it's about the right size. And I've got the moon, if we don't crash into the camera. Oh, wow, look at that.
So close.
And so, so here's this. I know you guys don't
Look
like
at
quizzes,
that.
but this is a day. Rotation is a day.
Okay.
Good morning, good night. There's the sun, right? If I could move this around the sun, that's a year. That's a year.
Oh, Cody Adams, that's your superpower.
Every time the moon goes around the Earth, we call that a month.
Sure.
So these are the 3 times. Now, they're not set to our calendar. It's what these things do by physics. Now, the thing is, if things played nice, and I'll see if I can stop it right about here. If things played nice, there's a thing called the ecliptic. Here is the sun, and in this line, all the planets go around the sun. And it would be so cool. The Earth goes around on that ecliptic, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter. Unfortunately, the moon does not. So if it did, see how, I don't know if you can see the shadow right there, but the shadow on that would be an eclipse. That is the umbra, or the shadow.
Okay.
The problem is, this thing is actually tilted. So if I can tilt this up, here we go. See that now? When you tilt, the moon decided that it wants to be 5 degrees off.
Dang it, moon.
I know. So it's 5 degrees off. So now as it goes around, that's a miss because it's too low.
Sure.
And that would change everything you talked about with it, just that 5 degrees.
5 degrees. Now it's over there, it's too high. And so there's only 2 times a year when this whole system moves around where it's on the elliptical. And so 2 times a year we can have an eclipse. They call it the eclipse season. But where it lands on the moving Earth, that's a whole other story. In fact, let me show you. I think we have a tape here of how this is working at one of my schools in Wayne Township. And you see, I'm kind of showing the same thing I just showed you. There's the Earth and there's the moon going around. And maybe we can speed that up. I don't know. That's a lot for asking Peter to do. But they're showing how we would have an eclipse every month, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But out in the gym, we can move this whole thing around, and as it goes around, and these orreries have been around like 300 BC.
Oh, wow.
And some of them get really fancy. If you go to museums, you can see some of these. And here we go. Let's see. I think we can go on around pretty fast. And there's where you have eclipses every month. But we're going to tilt it. And as you can see, we'll only get them 2 times a year. Now, it's not coming back to Indiana for 220 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, we'll probably
We
miss
won't
it.
be here. Yeah, I assume.
But it will come to North America in 20 years. If you think about it, how this thing, and the crazy thing is the Babylonians did the math on this thousands of years ago.
Oh, wow.
They kept records, and because of those records, as new science came along, we could use that data to help predict when these solar occurrences occur.
Even 20 years, though, is a long time. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people. This really could be and will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yes, and everybody in North America is going to see some part of the eclipse.
Right.
You're going to see a partial.
Okay.
But if you're in that path where that umbra goes across the earth, that's totality.
Yeah.
And where you are along that path is how long it will be. So, like, unfortunately, people in Lafayette won't see a total. People in Bloomington will.
Yeah.
People in Indianapolis will. So, unless you have small children, it's hard to move because of traffic. I suggest you go so you can see the totality.
Yeah.
Or watch it in your backyard.
Where will you be? For the
I'm
eclipse?
going to be at Conner Prairie that day, and we have a whole lineup of bands and music, and we have Mark Brown, an astronaut from Indiana, so I'll get to introduce him, a real spaceman.
Here's what's cool. We'll actually be out there live with them, so you'll get to see a little bit of that on the day of the eclipse.
Is
so.
this like, what kind of, like, this has to be like your Super Bowl, right?
It is, and my wife has been telling me, this is going to be over. What's your end of eclipse plan?
What are you doing after that? What's life
don't
look
know.
like? Yeah.
I don't know. I always have my summer camp to look
Yeah.
forward
There you
to.
go. It's always something in the world.
This is
of science,
amazing. You
right?
brought, I mean, this is massive.
Yes.
Thank
this
you.
is-
Rick, thank you
Yeah.
for the effort.
And thanks
This
to Matt
is
Lyles
so
and
cool.
Todd Henderson.
Yeah,
it was
good work.
who did this. Thanks.
It's going to be such
Team
a fun
effort
day.
for sure.
Thank you so much, Rick.